Levels of biological organization. Hundreds of chemical reactions are involved in maintaining life of even the simplest organisms. It is something surprising to find that of the 92 naturally occurring chemical elements, only 16 are commonly used in forming chemical compounds from which the living organisms are made. These 16 elements and a few others which occur in the particular organisms are called bioelements. In the human body, only 6 bioelements account for 99% of the total mass. Fact that the same 16 chemical elements occur in all organisms and the fact that their properties differ from those in the non-living world shows that bioelements have special properties which make them particularly appropriate as bases for life. Biological organization is not simple. It has high degree of complexity because of which the living organisms are able to carry out a number of processes, some very complicated, which distinguish them from the non-living things. A living thing has built-in regulatory mechanisms which interact with the environment to sustain its structural and functional integrity. A living thing is therefore composed of highly structured living substance or protoplasm. In order to understand the various phenomena of life, biologists, for their convenience, study the biological organization at different levels, starting from the very basic level of subatomic and atomic particles to the organism itself, and beyond which the study of community, population, and entire world are included. Atomic and subatomic levels. All living organisms and non-living matter is formed of simple units called atoms and subatomic particles such as protons, electrons, and neutrons. Molecular level. In organisms, elements usually do not occur in isolated forms. The atoms of different elements combine with each other through ionic or covalent bonding to produce compounds. This stable form is called a molecule. Hydrogen, carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, and calcium are the most common atoms found in biological molecules. The different types of bonding arrangement permits biological molecules to be constructed in a great variety and complexity. These may be micromolecules with a low molecular weight like carbon dioxide, water, oxygen. Or macromolecules with the high molecular weights like starch and proteins. Biological world has two types of molecules, organic and inorganic. An organic molecule is any molecule containing both carbon and hydrogen. Inorganic molecules do not include carbon and hydrogen together in a molecule. An organism is composed of enormous number of micro and macromolecules of hundreds of different types. Some most important and abundant organic molecules in organisms are glucose, amino acids, fatty acids, glycerol, nucleotides like ATP, ADP, and AMP. organelles and cell. Different and enormous number of micromolecules and macromolecules arrange themselves in a particular way to form cells and their organelles. In case of simple organisms like bacteria and most protists, the entire organism consists of a single cell. In most fungi, plants and animals, the organism may consist of up to trillions of cells. Numerous subcellular structures like mitochondria, Golgi complex, endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes have been studied for their structure and function. It has become clear that the functions of the cells are accomplished by their specialized structures, comparable to organs of body. These structures are called organelles. The arrangement of organelles speaks of the division of labor within the cells. The prokaryotes have only a limited number and types of organelles in their cytoplasm. Eukaryotes are rich in number and kinds of membranous organelles. A cell membrane is however present in all cells, whether prokaryotic or eukaryotic. Tissue level. In multicellular animals and plants, groups of similar cells are organized into loose sheets or bundles, performing similar function. These are called tissues. Each tissue has a particular function in the life of an organism. For example, muscle tissues, glandular tissues, xylem tissues, phloem tissues. They are specialized for contraction, secretion, conducting water, and for translocation of sugars and proteins. Organs and systems. Different tissues have related functions, assembled together in a structure to carry out its functions with a great efficiency. Such structures are called organs, and they are specialized to perform particular functions. For example, stomach, which is an organ, has a function of food digestion. Protein part has a secretory epithelium, which secretes the gastric juice, and a muscular tissue has a secretory epithelium, which secretes the gastric juice, and a muscular tissue for contracting the walls of the stomach and mixing the food with the enzyme thoroughly and moving the food to the posterior end. The formation of organs has also selective value, because this leads to the efficient accomplishments of the functions, both qualitatively and quantitatively. In animals, organ formation is far more complex and defined. Organs are part of organ systems, where total functions involved in one process or phenomena are carried out. The organ level of organization is much less definite in plants than in the animals. At the most, we might distinguish roots, stems, leaves, and reproductive structures. clear-cut functions, the distinguishing features, can be assigned to each of these structures. Roots are involved in anchoring the plant, storage of food, and procuring water and minerals. The shoot supports the entire plant. While the leaves are primary organs for food manufacture. Flowers or other reproductive structures are involved in producing the next generation. The complexity of organ systems of animals is associated with a far greater range of functions and activities than is found in plants. Individual or a whole organism. Various organs in plants and various organ systems in animals are assembled together to form an individual, the whole organism. The whole organism has its individuality as far as the characteristics are concerned. It's different from the other members of the same species in certain respects. The various functions, processes, and activities of organism are coordinated. In an animal, all the systems work in coordination with each other. For instance, if a man is engaged in continuous and hard exercise, not only his muscles are working, but there is an increase in the rate of respiration to supply the muscles with the increased oxygen and food which they need for the continuous exercise. In animals, the coordination is achieved by means of nervous system and endocrine system, whereas in plants only long-term regulation of activities is brought about by hormones. Organism works as a whole and it interacts and responds to the environmental changes as a whole. Population. A population is a group of living organisms of the same species located in the same place at the same time. Examples are the number of rats in the field of rice, the number of students in your biology class, or human population in a city. Population is a higher level of biological organization than organism, because here a group of organisms of the same species is involved. This level of organization has its own attributes, which come into being by living together of a group of organisms of the same species. Some of these attributes are gene frequency, gene flow, age distribution, population density, population pressure, etc. All these are new parameters which have appeared due to the population of an organism. Community. Populations of different species, plants and animals living in the same habitat form a community. Communities are dynamic collections of organisms in which one population may increase and others may decrease due to fluctuations in abiotic factors. Some communities are complex and well integrated. Other communities may be simple. In a simple community, any change can have drastic and long-lasting effects. The foregoing account makes it clear that an organism can be studied at different levels of organization. It can be studied at subatomic, atomic, molecular, macromolecular, organelle, cell, tissue, organ, and organ system level. We can also look at it as an individual, as a part of population of some individuals, as a part of community, and a part of community of an ecosystem, which includes abiotic factors as well as living organisms. The organisms' interaction can take many shapes. It may be predation, parasitism, commensalism, mutualism, and competition.